Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 10th hour of studying ESL Conversations. We're going to learn today how to ask questions regarding when things happened. It'll also be the first time that we join patterns that we've learned with today's patterns. So 2 patterns at one time. We first study how to say the date. This is in the teacher's guide under the file how to say the date. Also there's a video, ESL Conversation Patterns, how to say the date. It will teach students the 4 ways dates are said in English. There is also a separate video entitled ESL Conversation Patterns, how to say the time. And in the teacher's guide, the file name is how to say the time. And we basically have a snapshot there on the easy ways to tell time, the variations, the variety of ways we say times: 4:30, a half past 4, a quarter past 3, 10 past 1. So refer to those in order to study the date and the time. In each pattern, I tell the student how the question is formed and what answer they can expect. The first one, how long ago? If a number comes out, you're always going to have a go. 2 weeks ago, 3 days ago, 2 hours ago. If you only have a noun that comes out, it's going to be before and the noun. So the only 2 answers that you're going to see is ago and before. With each of the patterns that have long involved with them, I go through a 3-step process to sort of help the student to get used to the pattern. I tell them to, when I ask the question, only to answer 2. I don't want them fishing around in their brains for different numbers. It's always going to be 2. So the first thing I do is the simple one. How many minutes ago? They should say 2 minutes ago. How many hours ago? 3 hours ago. Excuse me, 2 hours ago. Here, I changed it. In the second part, I add a simple sentence. And I always keep the sentence the same. The important thing is the change in the pattern. How many hours ago did you go? I went 2 hours ago. How many days ago did you go? I went 2 days ago. How many weeks ago did you go? I went 2 weeks ago. So, once again, the important thing is the pattern. Are they picking up the pattern? In the third form, this is where we're going to start adding one pattern that we've learned to this particular pattern. So what I do is I change the pattern. Once again, the answer is 2. How many days ago did you have to go? I had to go 2 days ago. How many days ago did you need to go? I needed to go 2 days ago. How many days ago were you supposed to go? I was supposed to go 3 days ago. So there's a basic 3-step process that I go with each of the patterns. The second pattern is after how long and in how long. They are identical. The answer will always be after with either a number or a noun. It doesn't make any difference. The question within, this always refers to the future. So in how many days will you go? I will go in 2 days. After can also be used in the future, but it also has the present and the past, which it accommodates. So, in how many days? In 2 days. After how many weeks? After 2 weeks. Then we go on to a sentence and then to a pattern. After how many days do you plan to go? I plan to go after 2 days. In how many weeks are you supposed to go? I'm supposed to go in 2 weeks. Our third pattern, how long in a question, for how long question for, they are identical. Once again, long can be switched with how many weeks, how many days, etc. The answer, to help the student anticipate the answer always involves for if there is a number. If there's only a noun, for example, during the summer, during October, during the evening, 4 is not used. In fact, in the answer, 4 it can be used. It is optional. I do like to have students use it whenever a number comes out, just so that I'm sure that they can distinguish the usage of when 4 is used and when during is used. So when I ask them, how many days do you want to study? They should say, I want to study for 2 days. If I say, how many weeks do you want to study? And they say, I want to study for 3 years, I know they're not hearing part of the pattern. So it's basically helping to train their ear, train their tongue to speak the language. Our fourth pattern is sounds very sophisticated. It is used a great deal. The student simply has to memorize the pattern. How long has it been since you verb past? Instead of the verb past, you can also have the past participle. It's identical, and instead of the past. As you see here, how long has it been? How long is it? Grammatically, it may not be look correct. However, it does sound good. So if it sounds good, it is good. So the question, how long has it been since you met her? The answer is always going to be, it has been 3 days since I met her. How many weeks has it been since you met her? It has been 3 weeks since I met her. It just sounds so beautiful when they say it. Americans use it all the time, native speakers. Many times, however, the native speaker will cut it quite short. You ask them, how many days has it been since you met her? They will say 2 weeks. How many are 2 days? They just give you the time only. For students in the beginning, I request that they make the full sentence so that they get used to the habit of speaking in full sentences. They're not a fluent speaker of the language at this point. They should develop good habits in the beginning. So I make them make the sentences. Our fifth pattern of the day is how often, and a question. The answers generally use this pattern to answer. How often do you see her? I see her 2 times a day. I see her 3 times in a day. I see her 3 times every day. It's identical. The only little quirk here is that on this side of the pattern, 2 or more you have to use every. For example, I meet her 1 time every 2 days. Because is singular, you cannot use it with 2 or above. Instead of often, you will find other variations which are very specific here. How often do you meet her? Instead of often, how many times a day do you meet her? How many times a week do you meet her? It will even get more specific if you put here, how many days a month do you meet her? How many weeks a year do you go there? So you can have a very specific time period which you can put into here. The final pattern, how long does it take to study? The answer, which you help the student anticipate, is it takes 2 hours to do it. How many weeks does it take to teach that course? It takes 3 weeks to teach that course. So the question and the answer. This was a lot to study this hour. The students may be a bit, their heads spinning towards the end of this. the more we go on through our patterns and continually reinforce patterns that we've learned, they'll get used to this and they'll pick up on it, and it will be quite natural for them, 2 hours, 3 hours into it. Thank you very much.